doing a little Q&A because I have a bunch of questions here that I asked on Instagram, and I get a lot of questions on my videos, particularly my shorts, asking like about me, about my dogs, and I've never really done a sit-down Q&A on YouTube, and I figured it's long form, I talk a lot, this is the best place for it. So I'm just gonna go through a bunch of these and you can learn about me if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay. Someone asked, I love your dogs, but do you want kids? Very loaded question there. I get that all the time on all of my videos. The answer is yes, just not right now. We are both very busy, which I totally get, like there's no right time to do it, but we eventually do. It's just, we're trying to figure that out right now. I don't necessarily mind when people ask me that question, but just be careful who you're asking it to, you know? Would you do another feral foster after Blossom gets adopted? That's another very hard question. If you were to ask me right now, my answer would probably be no, just because I don't know if I can handle that level of commitment again, but there may be a time where 6 months from now, a year from now, where I'm ready to handle that because I have actually like had experience doing it and I feel more confident. So that might be a case where that happens is, oh, I've done this before with a really, really hard one. Let me try it again. But right now I would say the answer is no. Never say never. I'm just not quite sure. Are Pyrenees rescues the best? I'm biased, but yes. Pyrenees are the best dogs ever. I love them. And somebody else asked where my love for Great Pyrenees came from. That is a valid question because I have 3 of them. Basically, Mahi, who is back here with me, she was one of my first foster fails, and I did not know what kind of dog she was, but she had these very interesting characteristics and personality traits where I wanted to DNA test her. And so I did that, and it turns out she's half Great Pyrenees, which kind of piqued my interest, like, oh, what are Pyrenees? I love her personality. So like, what are these dogs like? And that kind of led me to start following Pyrenees rescues, the National Great Pyrenees Rescue, some in Florida. And that's when I started fostering Pyrenees, when I really figured out like, I love this breed. I want to keep going with it. And yeah, now I have 3. I fostered probably like 7 or 8 Pyrenees. They're the best. Who are the most friendly and least friendly of your pack? I would say the most friendly with other dogs, if that's what we're talking about, is Lily and Penny. Penny, however, is reactive through a barrier and on a leash, so she generally is a little bit like less friendly at first. Lily gets along with all dogs. Mahi is also friendly, but she can be selective on when she's friendly because she can get territorial, but the Pyrenees are absolutely the 3 most friendly with other dogs. Mahi, I just have to watch a little bit more, but Bear in his older age is just becoming less tolerant to other dogs, which is okay. And Pup is so independent. Pup, it will tolerate any dog unless they're in her face and jumping on her. She just doesn't care about other dogs. She wants to be left alone and she wants to cuddle with my husband, and that's it. Why do you post Bear and Pup less? Or are they just around less? Or are your Pyrenees your favorite? You kind of answered the question. The Pyrenees are just always around me 24/7. They're always at my side. Bear and Pup are usually either doing their own thing or they're with my husband. Those 2 are very, very independent dogs, and my Pyrenees are not so independent. Have you always loved animals? Did you grow up with pets? Answer is yes. I've always loved animals. I actually came across this Facebook post that I'll put a picture in it here. It says, F school, when I grow up, I just want to rescue dogs. Or it said, F school, I just want to rescue animals for the rest of my life, which like crazy foreshadowing, but yeah, I grew up with pets too. My mom, we always had like 3 dogs, 3 cats. My mom would pick up random stray cats and bring them in the house. We always adopted our animals. My mom loved dogs. When she was growing up, she always had dogs as well. And so that's kind of where I started the love of animals. And also I grew up with 5 or 6 pets in my house at one time too. So that just was the normal for me. And it wasn't crazy having this many because I grew up with them. how did you and your husband meet since you're originally from Wisconsin? Basically, I went to college in Florida. After college, I moved back to Arizona my parents were living there for a job. And when I left Florida, I was like, I'm gonna make it back here one day, 100%, this is where I wanna be. And so 2 or 3 years after that, I moved to West Palm Beach for a job, and my husband was living there too. We met on Bumble, and he just couldn't get enough of me, obviously. Pet insurance thoughts and recommendations. I don't have pet insurance for any of my pets. I do not recommend that, and I'm gonna explain why, because I have gotten quotes for pet insurance. And for me to insure all of mine, it would be about $500 a month, which my thoughts is I might as well just pay out of pocket as procedures come. But I don't think that's a great option for everybody, especially people with 1 or 2 dogs. You should definitely have pet insurance. I think I am going to insure Bear because he's older and he's the most prone to issues. Lily will not be insurable because she has so many issues and conditions, especially with her knees. And I'll probably do Penny and Mahi as they get older, but I've just paid out of pocket for everything, and that's just my thoughts on it. But I do think that people should have insurance if you can. I can't recommend any to you. I've heard Lemonade is good. I don't know, I don't know. I wish I could make better recommendations, but I can't. Was Lily's operation successful? As of now, yes. We obviously will not know for sure until her 6-week appointment, but we think it's all going well. She's walking, she seems to be doing well. Fingers crossed. What traits do you like the most about Great Pyrenees? I love that they're gentle giants. I mean, they really live up to their name. They're sweet, they're so loving, they're very loyal dogs. They are generally friendly with people. Obviously, you're gonna have some that are not, but generally friendly with people and other dogs. They just wanna be around their humans. They're good guardians. Obviously, you feel very safe with them. They're cute, the cutest ever. And they're just fun. They have funny personalities. Like sometimes I genuinely think they understand what I'm saying. I love them. Are you originally from Wisconsin, or why are you a Packers fan? I was born and raised in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I lived there till I was 17. I grew up there. And so that's why I'm a Packers fan. I love the Packers, always. What has been your favorite brand to work with so far? I think some of my favorites would be Bissell. I love working with brands that also give back to shelters. So Bissell has the Bissell Pet Foundation, and I love working with them. Their team's great. I love Earth Rated. Earth Rated products are just so good in general. I recently worked with Ring, and that was a really good partnership. There's been some that obviously have not been good, and I would be like, no, never again. But you live and you learn. What's the best way to introduce fosters to the rest of your pack? Slowly. Keyword slowly. Keep your fosters in a separate room for the first few days to a week. Then you slowly transition to sniffing under the door, baby gates up, sniffing between baby gates. You go outside to a neutral spot, not in your yard, take them on walks together, introduce them outside of the home, outside of the property, on leashes, in yard, leash introductions, on leash. Then you slowly graduate to doing off-leash introductions. This process can take weeks to months. It just depends on the dog. You just have to do it very, very slowly. Do not just throw them all in a room and expect them all to be okay, because that generally does not work. It just does not. Slowly. What is your job? I am a marketing manager at a software company. Been there for 8 years. What's your daily routine like? I never sit down and it's chaotic. From the second I wake up to the second I go to sleep. I post a lot of videos about my daily routine, like on my shorts, but it revolves around the dogs, the cats, work, and working out. And that's pretty much it. I eat in between every now and then, but yeah. Have your dogs ever escaped? Yes, my own fault. I left the gate open and 3 of them were gone for several hours. And I found them, thankfully, but I was manic. Like literally, you would have thought someone was me outside because I was screaming that loud. I was unhinged. What got you started in rescue and foster? That's a good question. A lot of people ask. Basically, I've always loved animals. I've always wanted to get involved, and I was living in Tampa with my husband. I worked from home. I didn't know anybody, and I wanted to get out of the house and do something and volunteer. And Tampa has one of the biggest shelters in the state, and I started volunteering there because I wanted to just learn about it. I started with just basic running dogs to playgroup. I started walking dogs. Then I graduated to adoptions, then playgroup lead. And so I kind of did everything. Enrichment, I kind of did a lot of that. That shelter is what brought me to my first foster dog too. And that was in 2017. And so that was about 8 years ago. And I just jumped right in and I haven't stopped since. Advice for first-time Pyrenees rescue pup: be patient. Them not listening is normal. Them being defiant is normal. Them barking is normal. Set rules and strict rules for them because they need to follow them. What was the number of dogs that was the hardest jump to make, i.e. 1 to 2? This is gonna sound crazy, but 4 to 5. Because Penny was the 5th dog, and she's the hardest dog I've ever had. The other 4 are pretty chill. She has just like turned the pack upside down. And so that was the hardest, 4 to 5. I know people expect me to say like 2 to 3, but no, 4 to 5. What is your recommendation for training with reactive dogs? If you're training them yourself, understand that reactivity isn't going to be solved. You are going to learn how to manage it. You're not going to cure it, but you're going to learn how to manage it with them. So that needs to be like expectation 1. It's not going to be cured. I don't care what anyone says. And my second one would be find a good trainer who specializes in that stuff. Really understand what triggers your dog, what makes them upset, how you currently handle it, what are their behaviors, what starts it, and then start looking for a trainer based on those things. I didn't do that, and I paid for a trainer who did not help me. Favorite hangover food: McDonald's, 2 cheeseburgers and a large fry. How do you keep calm when one of your dogs is sick? I don't. I'm manic for the first couple hours, and then my husband has to be like, relax, you trust your vet, make an appointment, take him to the vet. And I have to understand that there's just nothing I can do about it in that time. Googling and searching is not gonna help me because it's gonna give me 500 different answers. And I just have to trust that my vets are gonna figure out what's going on. How is Blossom? She's doing good. She's at her foster. She's like a completely different dog. I can't even stress how good she's doing. I'm so happy. What is the one thing your dogs do that drive you nuts? Probably when all 5 are barking at one time. Like barking loudly, like when FedEx comes. I know that's what dogs are supposed to do, but ooh, it overstimulates my brain. It overstimulates me. That's it. Cons of Great Pyrenees. Depends on who you ask, but some could say the barking, digging holes, the hair. They do resource guards sometimes, but mine do, but I manage it. So those could be cons. They're not to me, but they could be. Would you foster cats again? I'm fostering 3 kittens right now. How do you feel about some people using Pyrenees dogs as outdoor guardian dogs only? I'm fine with it if they're being used in the right way. Pyrenees were bred to guard livestock, and I understand that. I'm not one of those people that's like, working dogs should not exist. They are there for a purpose, and when they're good at their job, they are completely necessary, and farmers need them, like to protect their herd and their livestock. That just is what it is. If they're trained to do it the right way, a lot of people do not know how to train Pyrenees to guard livestock appropriately, and it doesn't work. So when they're well taken care of, they have a barn to come back into that's insulated, they have the tools and resources they need, I'm fine with it. But when people don't know what they're doing and expect Pyrenees to just know what to do immediately, that's when I have a problem. Do your cats ever interact with your dogs? They used to. Penny is the problem right now. When I fostered Penny, she was fine with cats. When we adopted her, she was fine. And then about 2 or 3 months after we adopted her, she started chasing them. And so I'm trying to figure out how to handle that. It's hard. I need to figure it out because I miss my cats sleeping with us, especially Callie. Which one of your dogs are the closest to each other? It's so weird because none of them are like super close to each other. They all coexist, and like Mahi and Penny will play, Lily will play with Bear. They all will play together other than Pup. She doesn't like to play. But none of them are like joined at the hip. They can all be by themselves. I would say Bear and Pup would be the most. But again, they're not, none of them are best friends really, which is weird to say, but they're not. How many brothers and sisters do you have? I have one brother, one sister, and I have technically like 4 stepbrothers. It's a long story, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, I'm the youngest. And last question, how are the dogs? They're good. They're good. They don't like that it gets dark so early and they can't go out to the creek all the time, but they're very good. And yeah, that was hopefully helpful, but I like learning about other people. So hopefully this Q&A could like help you get to know me better, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment. If you have other questions, leave them in the comments because I like to respond to my comments. And I know that I didn't get to all the questions you might have, but maybe I'll make another one of these a part 2 at some point. But yeah,